Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I've got another sick how to sound like video. We're doing Sleep Token. And guess what? There's a twist. This is with MIDI guitar. If you're an OG to the channel, then you know I've made one of these videos before. I actually did a how to sound like Spirit Box with Odin 3. But before we get into the video, make sure you hit that subscribe button and make sure you like the video. And finally, make sure you hit the bell so you can be notified when I release new content. A couple things to note about this video. I chose to try to go after a Sleep Token song that was a little bit more post-production heavy. So I really show you how to bring out those trap elements, those ambient sexy pads. And lastly, we come in with that gent chorus to make it really big and heavy and bring it all together. Also, don't forget, I've got memberships available for my YouTube channel where I go live exclusively for my members every Friday and Saturday night. And you could watch my live streams as I write songs for 5 to 6 hours. We chat, we have a good time. My members give me future content ideas. I show my signal chains, I show my mixing chain. I go into real depth on these live streams of my members. So if this sounds like something that you're interested in and you really want to go in depth on my signal chains and ask me anything about my sessions, then sign up for my memberships and immediately you get access to all my past live streams. I make videos every single day for my members. I shoot behind the scenes content. There's so much cool stuff over there. Make sure you check out those memberships. And lastly, you know me guys. I do all this stuff off the rip, off the cuff, all organic, so you can see the trial and tribulations that I'm faced with in real time. I think that's really important. Look, I've taken up enough of your time talking. I'm going to show you my Sleep Token inspired song right here, right now, and make sure you stay tuned for the full length tutorial on how I did it from beginning to end right after the playthrough. Thanks guys, enjoy. So you might think that the Sleep Token production game is really complex, and it is, don't get me wrong, but I'm going to show you guys one plugin today, in addition to Odin, it's going to make everything a lot easier for you. And I'm going to attempt to do all of this, like the post-production and the effects, with just this single plugin. And that single plugin is one that I use a lot on my YouTube channel, and that's going to be called Outputs Arcade. And I'm not endorsed by these guys, just heads up, but I do use this plugin a lot. I want to try to get all these elements in the song, the post-production, the hip-hop, the pretty pianos, the trap, the heaviness, the chorus, all of that. So with that being said, I'm going to show you guys how to make a Sleep Token song really quickly, and you don't even have to use a guitar. First things first. So essentially, you know, we would go in here, and I'm putting the key to E. Obviously, Sleep Token plays in drop E, like 8 strings, and so we really want to create something that is hip-hoppy and pretty. Yeah, see, some of these loops are already perfect. Not that one. See, that's giving the Sleep Token vibe right there. That's like kind of like that Aqua Regia type sound, like Essentialism. That's exactly where we're going to go with this. My tempo set at 105. So I'm actually just going to, look, I'm going to drag that for 4 measures, and then I'm going to print that. So let's print it really quick. So now that I have this printed, I'm going to play it for you. I'm going to show you how ideal this is for like a lead line and an intro. And then like right there, like a bass would come in. So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to continue to build it, and then we're going to drop it with the trap beat, just like Sleep Token would. Okay, so we have a bass open right here, just a regular sine bass. And on the halfway point of the intro, we are going to start building like a sub bass. And it's not going to be too loud, but I'm going to automate it to get louder as the track goes on. So I'm going to start it out an octave high up here. So we'll kind of just do that melody just to build the track, and then we're going to copy and paste it. And now I'm going to print this bass. So now that the bass is printed, I'm going to name it. So we're going to do sine bass low. And I'm going to organize it with the color here. So this is what this sounds like. So you're starting to get the picture. Now, again, on the measured 10, when it comes back in here, and I'm trying to introduce like all the Sleep Token like elements here and their go-tos. So now I'm going to start introducing like a little trap hi-hat. So we would go to splice, trap hi-hat. So now that we have our trap hi-hats in here, this is what it's going to sound like on measure 10. And I doubled up on that little triplet right there. That way, like the drop is just better. I don't know. Okay, so we're not done just yet. So we're going to go back to drip here in Arcade, and we're going to start continuing to build this thing out. Like there should be another synth that gets introduced right here. Let's see what we can find. Maybe something like that. All right, so do you hear how that like is pretty boring and it's like super sustained and it's like not really like nice? We're gonna crank that ambient swirl up and a little bit more. And now we're gonna print that, and that should help bring this first little section to life right here. So let's print that. Okay, so now that that's printed, let's listen back to it. Just like in the background like that, just to give it some texture. That's perfect. So now let's just look and see if there's any more elements that we need here. I don't want it to be too big because I still want that verse when it comes in to be like ginormous. I definitely feel like it's like missing like some trap, like sexy elements. So I'm going to go to splice and I'm going to look for like a hey to like reverb out. I'm going to name that hey verb. And I want it to be on the start of the measure, and then probably the start on this one too. You see how that just adds that like small sexy detail there? Yeah. We'll put another one right here where the hi-hats start. Turn it down a little bit though. There we go. I'm going to save that. Yeah, see, now we're starting to get somewhere. We're starting to create like that mood, that Sleep Token sexiness. And again, I'm trying to create a canvas that you would hear like Vessel's voice on. You know what I mean? I don't want to go too crazy. And if you really listen to Sleep Token's like post-production, it's not too crazy as far as like a lot of things going on. In fact, I feel like compared to most bands in the genre, they have a little less going on and they let the music kind of speak for themselves, which is so sick. And just goes to show you like how good of songwriters these guys actually are. Yeah, so now that we got this, we're gonna get ready for that verse drop. So we're gonna look for a riser as well. And here we go. So I'm just going to set that right there. I'm gonna name that riser E, and this is what it's gonna sound like. That one's pretty cool. So essentially you download it just like this right here. And then once it's saved to your drive, you can then really just bring it to life. So I'm going to go in here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the snares and the kick, and I'm going to print them all individually. Like these notes are usually the same for the snares and kicks, so my go-tos. So I'm going to print all three of these and then check it out. Okay, bada bing, bada boom. Now we have all three of these printed. So we have snare and we have kick, and I have a separate 808 here, and I'm going to show you the trap beat and what this sounds like. So we're going to go. Okay, cool. So here we have some hi-hats from Splice. I got them doubled up here, and let's check that out. So now we're getting somewhere, right? So the next thing we want to do is we want to reopen output, and we want to create a bass line. And I'm going to leave my main melody output muted right now, and I'm just going to create the bass line for the verse. So I'm going to go back up here, and I'm going to show you my trusty one really quick. This is one that I use very often just because I like the glide. Like it has a really cool glide feature here, and I'm actually going to use it right now. So I'm going to program this bass really quick. Okay, so fast forward, got the bass programmed, and I just printed it, and I'm printing this so it doesn't like eat up my CPU. So we're going to label this bass verse, and I'm going to play it for you. And listen to the glide that I've created in here. Next, we're going to do a really cool feature here. We're going to create a little stop right here. So I just took out the kick and snare. And yeah, so we need to make that more dramatic. What does Sleep Token do in some of their cool stops? They'll do like a snap. So let's add that Sleep Token snap. Let's find one. All right, we got this dragged in. So let's check this out. It's starting to make sense now, right? So I added the bells in there for background. And then next, we just need another melody that makes sense with output here. That's perfect. That's exactly it. So we print that. All right, we got that printed. So let's check that out. This is what it should sound like. So that's pretty much what we're looking for right there. Now I want to crash to hit as that snare happens. So I'm gonna go to Splice and hit crash, cruise through the crashes they have. So it should sound like this. Yeah, like one right there, and then let's put another one right there too. Splice is the bee's knees. So we got crash 1 and then crash downbeat. So it goes like this. Yeah, it's just in the background like that. So last but not least, I'm bringing a snare in just to thicken it up right here. So it's like a little bit of reverb. Okay, so I have these snares laid out all the way in this section right here. So it's just thicker right there. But it's like every other one. Awesome, so when this verse wraps up, I've got this riser right here that's gonna take us into a transition of which we're gonna go into like the heavier part. So the riser builds up, everything kind of stops there. So right now I'm going to create a serum preset, and I've got my MIDI controller here, and I'm going to try something here. That was a letdown. Oh, sick, dude. That is so sick. That is so sick. Let me record this really quick. Dude, we've got something so sick we just tracked. Listen to this. Okay, so we're gonna copy and paste some of these pads over just so I have them here. So we're gonna go into another part. I got my risers built out, and these are my pads on the next part. So now I just need to essentially program like the drums. Okay, so we have our outline done here on drums. So it's very like Sleep Token. And then I doubled up on the trap hi-hats down here too. So this is essentially just that main like course, essentially just like copy and pasted. And then now we are going to bring in the trusty Odin, and I'm going to show you how fun and cool this is going to be. So basically if I want the open to be like sustained here, I would essentially just like bring that key switch over here. And with Odin, it's cool because like when you open it up, the key switch list is right here. So it just tells you where everything's at. So for me, I'm just going to ride on the single low string on this whole entire part because that's what Sleep Token does. Sleep Token's a very like vocal based like band, right? So the guitar is really not ever in the forefront. I mean, obviously on songs like, Hypnosis and things like that, like it's a little bit more apparent. But on their more recent stuff, it feels like the guitar is just kind of there to be a support for the vocals, the piano, and everything else. So with that being said, I feel like most of it's just riding on the low string. So that's what we're going to do today. But with that being said, this is why Odin makes it so easy, is because it's, number one, getting a guitar down to drop E, like double drop E, and being able to sustain that low string is actually really difficult. I have a baritone Jazzmaster over here, a super solid like Fender Jazzmaster 30 scale, and I run 95s and sometimes 105 on the low, and it's still really hard, even being set up professionally. It's still really hard to keep that sustain perfect. So you almost have to actually melodyne the DI just to get it correct. And what Odin is doing, it's kind of bypassing all of that. They've managed to get this pretty much perfect. So like essentially here, when you would draw out like the low, for instance, so we go like the low E, where's it at? There it is. And then we go down here, so we find the key switch right here that we want, which in this case, I'm going to want something a little bit more like down picked. So we're going to go to C0 there. So we go to C0 and there it is. So see how heavy that is? And listen to how well that actually like sustains. So like that's, I mean, dude, listen to how well this is like sustaining. This is crazy. That's really impressive because on an actual baritone, that is really hard to do. So this is saving you so much time just with that alone, where you don't have to keep retuning and keep retuning and keep retuning. And I find that to be the most tedious thing about actually playing in this low of a tuning, unless you just have like the luck of the draw, like lightning in a bottle with getting an 8-string that like keeps it in tune at that, tuning. But anyway, so we're going to create a riff. Let's do it. Cool. So check it out. I got something created here and we're going to go over the key switches. So right now I'm running A2 and I'm going to bounce back and forth because this is finger plucked open. So let's see what this key switch sounds like. But I'm going to play the riff that I just programmed. It's very Sleep Token. It's more drum oriented. But check it out. So we can either roll with that key switch, and this is just how cool Odin is, or we can go up here and we can go back to, see, where were we? Down picked. So we can also go to C0 here and see what this one sounds like. See, that also sounds cool. It also sounds real. I might try to use it on that one and see what that one sounds like. Yeah, so you can really get in depth with this. I mean, Sleep Token is obviously much more of a band that you would want to try to program stuff like this, and it just so happens to be that Odin has the sustained notes, so it's a little easier, like I said a few minutes ago. So if you're gonna do this, this is the band to do it. It's certainly not a band like Black Dahlia Murder or somebody that's just riffing all over the place. I mean, it's good for that, don't get me wrong, but for me and my workflow, that would take forever because I tend to get a little like tedious with how I want things to sound and, detailed and whatnot. But here, same thing. I'm probably going to use that C sharp 0 there too. Let's find it really quick. Oh wait, we just passed it up. There it is. I might actually put it right there in that whole spot. Then go back to it right here. Now, here's where it gets really cool, right? You can actually just take that whole riff right there and copy and paste it up to your bass. And then you would just remove the key switches and bring all of this an octave down. And there it is. So now we got... bring the trap hi-hats in here. And this riff is just now, I'm just going to keep it going. So I went from the little gent stuff that their drummer would do to kind of like really be the virtuoso that he is, to then now like straight crashes and like straight guitar. I'll probably go to the Chinas right here. And then I have a cool way that I want to end this. We'll do like the dun dun on the tom, and like kind of how like Sleep Token typically would do. Check that out. So we'll go. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. So I wanted to put this part in the video really quick because usually people start asking in the comments like, what drums am I using? So for you guys who are OGs to the channel, you know that I use my one-shots for drums here. So I just wanted to quickly say, all the people who are new to my channel, my drums are, I am using the Architects One Kit Wonder here, and I've got the snare and the kick muted, and I'm using my snare from my one-shots that are available on my website and my kick drum here. So I just wanted to throw that in the video because I'm always getting asked, and that way when people watch the video, they can see what I'm using here. So next, what I want to do is I want to copy and paste the MIDI bass down, and I want to create a sub bass here. So I would just copy and paste the channel. Boom, just like this. So now that this is like pasted, this is the same thing essentially as like the guitar and the bass, obviously. Just to create some thickness. So yeah, we just made a Sleep Token style song in less than like 30 minutes. And all thanks to Solemn Tones, the MIDI guitar. It saved us tons and tons of time. Please check out Solemn Tones and check out Odin 3. You can use my promo code to save yourself some money when you buy the MIDI guitar. It's awesome. So really quick, I want to give a shout out to all my new members on my YouTube channel. All these guys right here. So if you haven't checked out my members section yet, you should do so. Every Friday and Saturday night, I live stream for my members for about 5 to 6 hours. Not only do I take content ideas from my members only, when I live stream, my members get to talk to me. They ask me questions. I show them my signal chains in real time, mixing chains, guitar chains, go into depth on how my stuff actually sounds, works, and how I do it. Not to mention they get to watch me songwrite for like 5 to 6 hours for real paying clients, of which some of these bands you're probably familiar with. My members also get exclusive content, so I'm always making new videos. So I make a new video once a day talking about how my studio runs, how my business runs, music industry topics, behind the scenes stuff with shooting content in my studio. Not to mention my members get my recent uploads first, and you get sick custom badges whenever you sign up. If you like the way this sounds, please check out dustyboles.com where you can check out my one-shots for your drums. And you can also do yourself a favor and check out my drum mixing course, How to Mix Drums in Less Than 1 Hour, where I show you how to mix GGD Architects One Kit Wonder in under 1 hour. Get your learn on. Thanks for stopping by.